Welcome, guys. Thanks for tuning back into another episode of the Game of Cryptos. I hope you guys are all doing well. I know I am. I'm sure you guys are all feeling great because Bitcoin dominance is going, and we are seeing our altcoins, for the most part, start to go up. Altcoins are starting to pump. It is finally getting into altcoin season, at least right now. Now, is this going to be temporarily? Of course, only time will tell. But as you can see, guys, if we look at this chart, I'm actually going to disappear here for a minute just so we can get a better look. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart. I know you guys have seen many other people cover this, other YouTubers, and this has been really crucial because as you can see, when Bitcoin dominance goes up, the altcoins don't perform as well. And as you can see, we've been in this descending triangle pattern for years. And every cycle, this goes back even towards like the first one. Once Bitcoin dominance goes down, altcoins start pumping. And just to kind of give you guys a little bit of like a explanation of what's going on this chart, each yellow line here is the halving. And as you can see, it definitely takes, and now this is a monthly chart, it takes many, many months for Bitcoin to peak after a halving, and then altcoin season will kick in. Last cycle, we didn't start to see the dominance go down until about December. So that meant that in the following year, in January of 2021, is when we started seeing altcoins start performing well. Bitcoin dominance went down. Now, what do we have in store for this cycle? Again, if the same patterns were to follow through like last cycle, guys, we are in the end of November, December's around the corner, and as you can see, we're already starting this trend that we already saw back here many, many years ago. And a really good indicator, guys, that I'm going to, again, none of this is financial advice, but something that I'm going to consider, because I know a lot of people now, less people are going to be buying in, at least if you were here for 2022, 2023 and DCAing. Now the next step is, okay, when is going to be a good time to potentially sell? Now, if you look down here, so this is where dominance, the altcoin, the dominance kind of like bottom out, and Bitcoin eventually, gain strength back into, where we are now. We went to about 39-40%. And then that's when we entered the bear market. So that is going to be one of the indicators I'm going to use as we go farther and farther down into this on this chart. Once we start getting close to the 40s is when you might want to consider potentially taking profit, because that means eventually the market will go back into a bear market. Again, not financial advice. I just assume and think that that's going to happen and be the case. This blue line you see right here is typically, if everything were to follow like it did last cycle, that we would see the cycle end somewhere around October, November, December of 2025. So then eventually you would see this kind of go down all the way to about here. So I hope that makes sense, guys. But again, none of this, of course, is financial advice. Anything can happen. Anything can play out. But again, just talking about the dominance, and we're at 71 when it comes to the Bitcoin season versus altcoin season. So this is a good time where you're going to see your portfolio go up if you're in cryptos outside of Bitcoin, other your Solanas, your even ETH, your Caspa, your Sui, your Pepe, your Brett, any altcoin you're in, if they're good picks, Render, Tau, you're going to start seeing your altcoins at least start pumping here, at least until something else changes. Again, we never know what can happen in the market. Market always has surprises. Maybe you might see a little shakeout somewhere in December, but according to previous chart history, in January is when we continue this pump. If we go and check out my favorite chart from bitbo.io, you guys have seen this, previous cycles, where they're red here, we see that we go up here for a little while, and then usually there's a little like dip, a little shakeout, and then boom, we go, sky's the limit. And I think that we're going to see our first peak in 2025 around April or May of 2025. Now, there's that saying, sell in May, go away. So yes, you might see an initial shakeout, and that's what I think is going to trick people into thinking that, hey, the bull run might be over. We're going back in the bear market. Of course, that's always a chance. There's always that option. But I think that we will gear up for that last bit of rocket fuel for Bitcoin to put in its market top later in 2025, October, November. Again, things can change. There can be a random black swan event that can ruin this for all of us, and maybe it could end early. Maybe it does end in Q1 of 2025. Excuse me. So just, of course, be prepared. And at the end of the day, like I've always said on this channel, people ask, when do you think the best time to take profit is? I always say the best time to take profit is when you are happy with your bags. When you look at your portfolio value and when you see a number on that screen and you're like, wow, if I sold this right now, this could change my life, then take it off the table. Or take 90% or take 95% off the table and leave the rest in and let it ride out and see if you can make even more return on that. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens for the rest of this year. But honestly, guys, I'm very, market's bullish. We are in a bull run, and it is time to see our hard work pay out and the fruits of our labor from all the DCAing. This is just crypto bubbles, and this is just showing some of the, the bullish picks of this cycle right now. You got Brett, Render, Solana, Solana. So with Solana, the reason why Solana's been doing so good is because of, you have all the meme coins, for better or for worse, being put on the Solana blockchain. You have Pump.Fun, which is, it has had some bad rep lately because of the bad things that have been streamed on there and the type of cryptos that are launched on there, the pump and dumps. But this is bringing in more people into retail, liquidity. And that's why Solana has been performing really well. And Solana right now around 230, 240, and market cap about 113 billion. Could this double and go just around 500? Very, very possible. We've been hearing rumors and people saying like, oh, Solana's going to 1,000. I don't think so, because guys, you could have been buying Solana. Solana went from like $7-8 to 238, and you guys think it's going to go to 1,000? Might be very moonboyish and very ambitious, so just don't get wrecked. Another really bullish one, you have Brett, one of the, it's a derivative play from Pepe, and Pepe has been going up significantly. It's just under a $10 billion market cap, and the thing with Pepe versus Brett is obviously the two, they're the frogs of the cycle, the most bullish frogs. And I've talked about it in previous videos, and I've made the analogy that I think that Brett and Pepe are the Doge and Shiba of this bull run. So you had last bull run, you had Dogecoin reach like an $80 or $90 billion market cap, and then I believe you had Shiba Inu hit about a 40 billion. I think you could see potentially something similar this bull run. People are going to be like, oh, well, Doge, there's only so much upside with that. A couple X's, maybe. Pepe, it's at a 8 or 9, so could it go to at least 50 billion? Yeah, I think so. Could Brett go to at least 20 billion? Yes, I think so. And honestly, those could be very bearish numbers. But again, we don't want to, we're at the point of the cycle where we want to be very reasonable about the predictions of the outcomes of certain cryptos and the prices. Because what a lot of people do, and you saw it happen last bull run, as cryptos go up, people keep moving the goalpost. People keep saying like, oh, well, now this crypto's at this price, I could see it going here. Oh, now that it's gone up to here, I could actually, people keep giving you, like, it's like hopium, and I think it's not good for crypto investors, because that's how you get left holding the bag. Prime example, last bull run, people were like, oh, Bitcoin going to 100K. Guess what? Topped out at 69K. Dogecoin's going to $1. Guess what? Topped out around 70 something cents. So for those people that were ready to just hold, a lot of people lost a lot of money. People still did well and made money, but didn't make as much as they could. Other plays, you have Render, a really big, deep-in AI play along with Tau. I think those are some of the best. Render with the GPU, distributing compute power, very big. The partnerships with like NVIDIA, like it's. I think it's going to be one of the top plays this bull run. Tau, the machine learning, that's going to be huge. Definitely institutional adoption coming for that. And then you have other plays like Sui. People were talking about, potential, Solana killers. Well, if there is one this bull run, it is Sui. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that if there was something that could compete and eventually one day get to a market cap of Solana, potentially get to the 80s or 90 billions of dollars of market cap, it is Sui. Sui sitting around a $9 billion market cap now. So the 5Xs, you're sitting around 40, 50, 10X around a 90 billion. So it is going to be interesting. Obviously, the higher the market cap, the amount of returns is capped versus if you're going with something that was super super low cap. But I think Sui definitely still has some room to run. Caspa over here, so there's been a big this big forth debate, like, is it better to buy Caspa? Is it better to buy Sui? Well, the biggest difference, guys, and for a lot of the new people that might be tuning in, Caspa is a centralized layer 1. Sui is a centralized layer 1. One of the biggest differences. Also, Caspa is aiming to be more of a payment solution. It is the crypto that is most similar to Bitcoin. So a peer-to-peer, it arguably is doing what Bitcoin was set out to do and is doing it even better. And maybe people will see Caspa as a potential secondary store of value, kind of like a silver. Sui is just more like blockchain technology where applications and whatnot can be built on it. Again, very similar, fast transactions, again, very similar to something like Solana. So if you're someone that's debating like, would it be good to have both of these in my portfolio? Yeah, you have a centralized VC-backed coin, and then you have one that's Caspa, which is, fair launched. So even, more decentralized. So it could be good to have both, because at the end of the day, yes, guys, we want, we're in it to make money too. Yeah, you might say you're in it for the tech, but you want to make money too. Although, like I said, I do think Caspa is a very revolutionary technology. Then you have like other plays like Injective, guys. Injective has been doing fairly well. It actually did surpass its old all-time high in the last bull run, so that's good. And, people are still considering, Injective in its ecosystem. I think it's still really bullish. And, this one could surprise some people. And, it'll be very interesting to see where it ends up at the end of the bull run. And then, of course, lastly, some of the other, honorable mentions in this, some of these popular cryptos. Miria, Naka. Now, Miria did have some kind of FUD because I believe it was delisted from a crypto exchange recently, and I still don't know if there's any real news about why. So obviously very, very risky gaming play, but at the end of the day, a lot of crypto is risky, and if you're looking for a gaming play, it could be Miria. Another one potentially could be Nakamoto Games. Nakamoto Games was around, I believe, in the last bull run, so it could be a couple safe, like a safe maybe 5, 10x maybe, and some people would say that's very bearish. That definitely could be, but now is not the time to keep moving the goalpost as time goes on. And then lastly, Tectum, I have been overall still very bullish on it. It hasn't necessarily seen the best of price actions. It's hovering around $10, and about a year ago it was $10. It reached up to about $40. The tokenomics, I would say, are still pretty good. You never know. This could surprise people. A payment solution, scaling solution for Bitcoin and other cryptos. But their main goal is to kind of scale Bitcoin, fast, like crazy, pretty much instantaneous transaction speeds. They argue that they have the fastest. But as we've seen in this bull run, sometimes the best tech, or at least what looks like the best, some of the best tech on paper doesn't always get the the desired, or the attention it deserves. So again, it's going to be interesting to just see how all this plays out. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys are all doing well, and yes, let's celebrate. Altcoin season pretty much here. People are making money, but at the end of the day, you have to remember, it is person versus person. And yes, we want to make money. I want you guys that are all watching this to make money, but eventually there will come a time when you have to sell. And for you to make money, that means someone else has to lose. That's just the reality of the situation. Don't get left holding the bag. Pay very close attention to the macro and the news and the stuff that's going on in the news, because those can definitely be indicators of when this bull run could eventually end. For the time being, you have Trump's inauguration, and then you have everything leading through January until April or May. I see the market overall being bullish, at least until then. And then maybe after that, again, we might see that initial pullback. And, the rest is just it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. Nothing's guaranteed, guys. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys got something from this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.